Kenya Moore. So, uh, where can I purchase the products? What are the effects of the products? Is the conditioner really good? Is it going to soften my hair like I need it to and give it the extra moisture to get some length going? Um, what stores are the products? And I mean, I got questions. How much is the product? But the questions didn't get a chance to get answered because of what had happened. And what had happened was a straight mother, if I've ever seen one in a long time. OM motherfucking G, y'all. What is going on? It's your girl Taina B here, and welcome to my chat party. Listen, I have not been reviewing the Housewives of Atlanta because I didn't think I would enjoy this season. Just off the rip, I'd seen the trailer, and even then, I just wasn't moved. I think I was more so accustomed to having the OGs that I was used to having, and just having that old school feel of Atlanta still with us in some way, shape, or form. And I know it could be debated that, well, Kenya's still there and Cynthia's still there. And it's like, I guess, but they weren't my like top favorites on the show. You know what I'm saying? And so even if they were there, I feel like collectively they still needed more. Like it just wasn't giving a whole lot of umph. Oh, but then I saw this last episode. I couldn't even tell y'all what episode number it was. I'll have to look before I post this video. I'm pretty much winging this right now because for those of you who are part of my VIP guest list party, my fam at this point, mwah, shout out to y'all. Like, I usually take notes. Y'all know I take notes, but this ain't that type of party. It's just a quick kind of little recap of what happened and just an introduction to the idea that I do plan to come back next week and start fresh from top to bottom of the next current episode and kind of go through it from beginning to end. But my goodness, y'all, when I say just catching up to speed on my thoughts with some of the ladies, and I'll keep it very centered because I'm gonna try to keep this as short as possible for now, and then maybe I'll get into everybody else as I begin to review the episodes. Britt, Edie, I'm not a fan. I have not been a fan. I think it started literally with her voice because of her nose job. Should I be saying allegedly? I don't know, y'all. I mean, I guess so she's annoying to listen to. She had been. But even through that, I'm like, but let's see what she's got. It's going to be a little hard because it's distracting to hear her talk, but let's see what she's got. And then she started opening up more, and I was like, not my cup of tea. Okay. So I already wasn't feeling her. Then last episode, when she pulled that stunt talking about the and the of it all, the pum pum pow pows of it all, I was like, girl, are you for real? Because there's no way on God's green earth that what just transpired warranted all of that. First of all, there should be nothing. Let me start there. That warrants that, right? Not in a conversation when there's no weapons involved. It's words. And I understand that words can be real sharp and words can really draw you quickly to anger like they did. But you, as a grown adult, still need to have a level of control, especially if you don't want to make yourself look like a fool. And when I say this lady was looking like a whole fool in these streets behind her reaction to Kenya, and we all knew, and I agree that this was just her trying to have her moment because even watching in the prior episodes, I'm like, now why exactly are you mad at Kenya again? Like you're trying to find a reason because I know it can't be about that doggone ring. And the way we know how Kenya gets down when she shades people, but still hadn't really shaded you yet, you must not know past seasons of Housewives of Atlanta. But, anyways, I digress. So when she did that, I'm just like, this is a horrible look. Go crawl under a rock and be done because you played yourself. I didn't see you have any drinks, so I don't know if I should blame it on drinking, but it was an embarrassing fool. Okay. But in however, because I felt like she was done at that point. There was nothing, in my opinion, unless it would have been something legal that Kenya needed to do. Besides, from then on out, pay that lady smoke and dust like she did and be like, don't you ever approach me again a day in your life. Because Brittany had ruined herself on her own terms. She had completely ruined herself alone. Kenya didn't need to do anything. But then Kenya with this whole reveal at her hair care launch. Kenya, you went from just Brittany out here looking like a fool to now y'all both look like fools. And it's something when you can look at Portia's face and tell that Portia ain't even feeling it, ain't feeling the mean girl behavior. Because I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of these franchises across the board, or a lot of these housewives, these different cities have mean girls within them. In my opinion, Portia's one of them. Okay. I never always thought of her being that way. I used to really love Portia in the beginning. But, things changed. Her attitude changed. I guess she got a little bit more money, got the butt going and this, that, and the third, and you couldn't tell her nothing. Okay. What did it for me truly, though, was that family spinoff show that she had and then the Ultimate Girls Trip. I was totally done with her. So for the fact that a mean girl ain't feeling the mean girl's behavior, you know something. And I saw literally yesterday, it came up in my feed, a interview that Kenya had done with Tamron Hall and how she was sharing her side of things. And I felt like that didn't really fare well for Kenya because you said you were scared and you felt threatened. But if we rewind even back to the night when old girl made the threat, like you were in the car and it was a hot mic moment, but I like to think you're accustomed to knowing that the mic is on by now because you've been doing this way too long. I've heard folks say, oh, sometimes you forget it's on, and maybe, but you were saying on the microphone that you wanted her to. Like, well, it's just that doesn't give fear to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you was gonna ride that wave of being scared, you got to play your cards right from beginning to end, even when you think no one is listening. Okay? That's how you gather your evidence up to show fear. That would have worked, but you messed that up. And then how do you have time to then go seek this revenge situation against this lady and call that fear? What? like so I would like to think that a rational person, a reasonable person, a person who in fact was in fear, I would like to think they wouldn't have taken that next step as their approach. Okay. If anything, instead of using those fingers to go down to the Kinkos or whatever and request that that thing been made or be made, you should have been online using those fingers to fill out an application to file some charges because there was definitely some charges involved. Okay. That could have been filed. You felt like production didn't do anything like you said, well, then you could have taken matters into your own hands. You're well within those rights. And Kenya, I know you have an attorney on standby. So none of it made sense. And then it's like the ladies, even at your event, were trying to get you to just kind of pipe down with it. And you telling them, don't tell me what to do. I'm going to do this anyway. Don't tell me not to. And that gives fear. So I just feel like for that reason, first of all, it's just you couldn't have been in fear. Okay, let's start there and call a thing a thing. And it was just a bad look. I don't need to state for the obvious reasons. I'm sure people have been saying it across the board. I haven't had a chance to look at anyone's videos yet, but I plan on it with this particular one because this was like a big, major deal. And there's a totally different way that Kenya should have fought this fight. She really should have. And I feel like it just brings back to the core that mean girl that Kenya once upon a time ago was. So it just shows me that it never really went anywhere. It was just laying dormant within her because when Kenya first started on Atlanta, I really liked Kenya. I did. I can remember. And then it came to a point in time where she just started getting real mean and hateful and sharp. And I know fans and people were eating it up. Again, if y'all know me, y'all know I am not a fan of mean girls at all. You know what I'm saying? And it's like from there, once she had Brooklyn, we started to see a more softer side, of Kenya. And I was back to like, I think I can deal with Kenya. I can. But then for this, I'm just like, oh girl, all right, well, yeah, you ain't really changed at the end of the day, not even a little bit. And the things that are coming behind this, like she said on the Tamron Hall show, that she wasn't fired or suspended or let go, whatever, but you're showing filming. And I just don't know that it's because the decision was yours. I don't know that I fully believe that. And if anything, this is just posing as it's karma coming back to you, because we know we've got to reap what we sow. And you plant bad seed, you're going to reap bad seed. And it may not come, things might be going for you good or going good for you at one point, but eventually you have to pay the piper on that. And it's going to come to find you. Don't matter how well you've been doing. If you didn't pay up yet, you are going to. And I feel like this might be one of those situations, because it was a huge investment that she made. She told us so. It was Brooklyn's tuition. And she was very nervous about that, which I thought was a beautifully vulnerable moment. So why, at the expense of this, I was about to start calling her stuff. I'm not going to do that. Like, why would you do that? Why would you risk it all, even just off the strength of Brooklyn? You know what I'm saying? I felt like when that lady, first of all, that lady shouldn't have shown up to that event. Let's start there. Kenya probably should have asked her not to come, but clearly we know she had a motive for her coming. But I'm just thinking, if I were Brit, I would have been like, I ain't even want to show my face right now. I know the last thing she wants to do is see me, because that's crazy. Those flowers could have been sent to Kenya's home or sent to her business without you being present, and then just kind of getting to feel maybe for things from there. And I don't know why these other ladies were encouraging Brit with this, because I thought that was ridiculous. Like, because I would have been like, girl, I think you need to stay home and let it cool off, because what you did was crazy. You don't just get to turn around. I said, is something really wrong with her though, y'all? And that's all jokes aside, because she gives me this energy, and the way she thinks, even when she was meeting with her sister, even just with certain things she said so far, like she's not all the way there. Like, it's to the point where I even be looking at her husband. I remember they showed the one scene when they were talking about the baby. He even looks sick of her. Like, she seems like she's a lot to bear. A lot to bear. And trust Britt, it ain't got nothing to do with your looks. I know you feel like, women don't like you because you're a beautiful girl, whatever. That's beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Okay, I'm not into the, whatever the case may be. I just feel like something is not connected all the way right up there. It's just not, because you say what you said, which was, like I mentioned, so unwarranted. But then the next day you act like, I don't know how you made the switch to, I mean, I guess you could feel bad, but I'm just like, girl, what? Like, that doesn't even make any sense, how you were able to do the switcheroo. Like, you really didn't do something really, really crazy. Like, you didn't say something really, really crazy. Like, you didn't go off the way that you did. It was almost like a night and day Jekyll and Hyde type character. I wasn't buying any of it. I think more so, you played yourself and made yourself foolish, and you were more so worried about your reputation and what you look like, more than Kenya's feelings. But it's just like, you should have stayed your behind home. You really, really should have. Okay. But at the same time, Kenya, I'm going to tell you, that was a horrible look. Like, ouch, 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 and ouch. Some more. How do you come back from that? Uh, how do you justify that? Y'all, I was sitting in my chair watching when she pulled out the first post. First of all, let's rewind. When she started making the introduction to what she was about to show and started, disclosing the situation and what had transpired, I was like, oh my gosh. Y'all, I was like melting in my seat, like, oh my God. Then when she pulled that first poster board, I was like, oh my gosh, what is that? And I'm looking all hard trying to see the blurs. I'm like, okay, it looks like it's just faces. I thought that was it. Then she went with that next poster board and the gasp and the whatever from the people. And then who said it? Maybe Cynthia was like, I ain't come here to see nobody get no. I said, oh, no, Kenya did not just show. I know you. I know you. Oh my God. No, she did not just show that. So, anyways, you guys, listen, I'm going to leave it right there. I think it's wow, 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 crazy that Kenya did that. I can't appreciate the fact that she's resurfaced back to who we knew her to be. Like, that just shows again, Kenya ain't changed. Kenya ain't changed. Anytime, y'all remember that one season when Kim Fields was on? Who in the world would want to disrespect Kim Fields? First of all, Kim Fields is a freaking legend. She been doing that long before, been in the industry long. I mean, since she was a child, giving us the best of the best. And if y'all know, y'all know. So the respect that Kenya should have had for Kim coming on the show just for the legend that she was alone, aside from the sweet spirit that she appears to be, again, the legend alone, but you still like went hard on this lady, tried to pull a chair from up under and all types of craziness. Again, I knew Kenya was something then. I really did. Cause I'm like, how could you disrespect somebody like that? So who really of all people don't deserve that. So it's just crazy, y'all. But I'm definitely going to be here next week to get into the episodes in this entirety. I'm sure we'll definitely pick up this conversation again. Like I said, I know the streets have definitely been talking heavy. I see it everywhere, and it was just an awful look. And Ken, you saying you feeling threatened and scared, honey love, that is just not going to work. That is just not going to work. If anything, you should have just been starting to make your apologies from the beginning and leaving it at that. A rewind, you shouldn't have done it at all. You shouldn't have done it at all. I was like, how is she okay doing this in this moment? How is she okay? And you had to be crumbling on the inside when you even saw your road dogs weren't feeling you and was leaving your event. That didn't send no clue to you and no signal to your brain like, oh, stop up. Anyways, y'all, join me next week, please. We're going to get into the things of the things, get into the details, dissect Atlanta. Okay. Until then, y'all stay up, y'all stay blessed, and I'm out. Peace.